Okay, guys. So again, just some thoughts. I was watching Series Bíblicas, and I'm seeing that I'm seeing it when King Solomon dies, and now his son King Rehoboam is gonna be the next king, right? Rehoboam. In Spanish, it's pronounced a little bit different than in English. But so now he's gonna be the next king, and this should be the happiest day of his life, right? He's gonna be king. He's gonna be promoted, and yet it's bittersweet. It's almost as if it was the saddest day of his life because he just lost his father. And I started thinking to myself, and I'm like, wow, God, like how sad that every king, like the happiest day of his life when he's going to be promoted, was actually the saddest day of their life because it's always when they lost their father. Because the king, the father, would have to die in order for them to then be promoted as king. And I kind of felt like that was a way of them feeling vulnerable and humbled and having to depend on God. So it was like, okay, now you're next, but now your father is no longer there to give you advice. Now everything that he taught you while you were not the king, now you have to apply it on your own. Not on your own with God, but you have to depend on God, you know? So I thought that was, something that I was like, this has to be from God, like that. Now they have to depend on the Lord. Also, very interesting, when King Rehoboam in the series, he's talking to one of his servants. He's telling the servants, like, like he's basically saying like he doesn't feel worthy. And he's like, I don't have the courage of my grandfather, King David, and I don't have the wisdom of my father, King Solomon. And then his servant tells him, yeah, but you do have their God. And I was like, wow, like what he said was perfect. That's what you need. The only thing you need is their God, because their God is a God that can give you the wisdom that he gave to Solomon, and that can give you the courage that he gave to David, and that can give you much more. It's found in God. So I thought that was very wise and perfect timing for the servant to tell him that. And then what else? Oh, and then this. So King Rehoboam, King Solomon's son, is very confident that he is the next king of Israel. He's like, that's it, I'm the king, because God promised my grandfather, King David, that there would always be someone from the king of David, from the tribe of Judah, right, to be on the throne. So he's like, that's it, I'm the next king, I'm the only son that my father has, and he's very sure of himself. Mind you, the prophet already went to Jeroboam to tell him, God says he's going to give you 10 of the tribes of Israel because King Solomon sinned against him. I don't think his son was aware of this. As a matter of fact, when you continue, you see how the son was very little aware of this, because when the people told him, like, look, your dad was charging us a lot of taxes, can you please reduce it? If he would have been smart, he really wanted to be king, he would have told them, yeah, not a problem. But instead of listening to the advice and the counsel of the older wise men, he listened to the ones that were his age, that were like, no, they just want to take advantage of you because they think that you don't have what it takes to be king. Like, if I were you, I would tell him, like, oh, I'm going to make it worse. Like, if you thought what my father was charging you for taxes was bad, I'm going to make it even harder for challenging me and all of this. And that's prideful, right? And that's exactly the counsel he took. But that's because it was of God. As a matter of fact, God had to step in afterward, because I think he even wanted to go to war with Jeroboam. And God had to step in and say, this thing is from me. And then he backed off, So I was thinking, Lord, now he probably thinks like, wait, but didn't you promise my grandfather that there was always going to be someone from his descendant to sit on the throne? Like, he was probably confused. Like, wait, God, did you just not keep your promise? Even though God still let him keep one of the tribes of Israel. I don't know what happened to the other one, because it's supposed to be 12. So I don't know what happened to the other one. I don't know if God let him keep two, but he specifically mentions one, right? So he didn't break his promise at all there. He didn't break his promise at all. I didn't mean there. But what I was thinking is, even more than that, God didn't break his promise because Jesus, right, came from the line of David, right? And Jesus is from the tribe of Judah, and he's sitting on the throne for all eternity. So I think that King David and King Solomon and King Rehoboam misunderstood God, because they didn't know that God had Jesus Christ in mind when he made that promise. Maybe King David did, because of his worship, he tapped into more. He tapped into revelation and stuff that even people hadn't discovered into the future. So I think maybe King David did, possibly. But yeah, I thought all of that was very interesting. So these are just some thoughts that I had that I wanted to share with you guys. So thanks for watching. God bless and have a nice day.